Hi. Today we're going to be making vegetable soup. All I can really tell you is that vegetable soup is easy. It's full of vegetables and you just need a refrigerator full of stuff to start. If you are really a clueless apartment dweller and your refrigerator has nothing in it except mustard, you can't make the soup. This is a cutting board thing, cheap from IKEA, I think. Really handy because it's stuff, and then roll it and pour the stuff into your pot. I made it pretty, but you don't have to do that. Okay, first vegetable we are going to start with is, what do you think? Onion. Everything I take away goes into the compost, you know that. If you don't have compost, you should get worms. Okay, now we're going to cut the onion by doing our thing, which is slicing in toward its epicenter. And so we just slice the other way. That way when we just go like that, we get perfect chopped onion. This is the pot I'm going to use. This size of pot. Let's see. Okay, I have put the pan on the stove. See? Big pan on stove. Turn stove to high. Olive oil. Doesn't matter. So I'm just going to pour it right into there. See? Just pouring in a bunch, like that much. Don't forget that we've already chopped our onions. So really fast, we're going to pick up our handy onion chopping board thing that I showed you before, and we're going to take this over to there. We're not in. We take our big flat spoon that we love, and we start stirring. I'm going to put in a little bit of cumin. It'll probably be about a teaspoon. At this point I put in some salt. I already did that without the camera running. I put about a tablespoon of salt because I'm making this huge pot of soup. You might not be making this much, so just accordingly. Baby carrots are really easy because you can just put them in whole if you want, if you like really chunky soup. Chunks like that and some little chunks. I don't think it matters. I think if you make it all exactly the same, it's going to look like canned Campbell's soup, and we do not want that. Baby carrots, they're actually whole carrots that in some factory, yes, even in the Earthbound Farm organic factory, they just kind of shave the carrot down to make it look this size. Just convenient. They're not more tender, they're not anything. They're just more convenient. But they are. Hey, these dipped in hummus, little baby carrots, dipped in hummus, yum, great snack. Okay, next we have celery, just a bag or whatever. These are celery hearts. You're not paying for the fluffy, leafy parts. Okay, I'm going to take this. If you had a big celery stalk that had the leafy stuff on there, you don't need to cut that off. That can go right in the soup. You might notice that this end looks a little bit, you know, a little dry. I don't care. It's going in the soup. 1/2-inch chunks. Just cut on through the whole thing. See how easy that is? With celery, when you get to the very bottom, I'm putting this into the soup now. Composting. Okay, here's the soup going. I had added the carrots. I didn't show you that, but I just dumped them in. Ooh, can you see anything? It's steamy in here. I'm dumping in. I don't think you can see it. And then I dump the water out by holding on to the end, you know, kind of let the water out carefully in the sink. And that's how I wash my mushrooms. So I'm going to go do that right now. Okay, I have just sliced a boatload of mushrooms, way more than you would normally put in soup. Mushrooms cook way down to kind of nothing, so I'm going to put them in anyway because it doesn't really matter. We like mushrooms. But I can tell you that you don't have to put the mushrooms in at all if, for instance, you hate mushrooms. You see, you'd probably never buy this at the store. But now that you know about soup, and it makes a great addition to your soup, so I would say you should actually buy this stuff. See what it is? Can you read that? This says organic red boar kale. If you don't buy organic, you really do need to wash all this stuff really well. Because I don't care if you're cleaning, boiling it or not, who wants to eat boiled pesticides? Not to mention that it ruins the planet. Okay, now I'm going to cut the kale very just haphazardly. It doesn't really matter. But okay, as I get closer to the stem ends, I'm going to cut finer because you don't want big old long hunks of putting in see the little stems like that. Just little, that's not very thick. I'm putting some of those in. They will be. At this point, you're going to be so proud of yourself because this looks so delicious. It's just steaming away. Okay, next thing is going to be a big can of organic kidney beans. You could put a small can or 2 small cans. Any kind of beans you like. Garbanzo beans taste good. Just you haven't done that yet. Right now we're going to turn it into real soup, and that is by cans of tomatoes. I didn't happen to have a can of whole tomatoes, which is what I wanted to use. Crushed tomatoes are the same thing, it's just that they're all smushed together. But it's fine. You could put anything in. You could put tomato sauce if that's all you have. You could put a can of spaghetti sauce in there if you want. Sometimes you get a psst sound, but we didn't really. Remember what I told you? We rinse out the can, and I'm going to pour more water in. Alright, now we're getting there. We kind of have soup. So we're going to put in, see, it's getting really wonderful, but we need a lot more water because it's going to cook a long time and that water will evaporate. So I'm going to put about 2 more cans of water. I could put another can of crushed tomatoes. I think I'll do, no. See, this is how I cook. I should always start with stock. That means you buy a carton or a can of stock, and at the point where I put in the water, you put that in. Well, I don't think you need to. That's a processed food, even if it's organic and vegetarian, vegan. You get plenty of flavor from the vegetables you've put in yourself. The main difference with stock is the salt. I'm going to turn it back up a little higher, see, to bring it up to a boil. Once it's boiling, we're going to stir it, and then we're going to turn it down really, really low, like we did with the spaghetti sauce, and let it just cook and cook and cook. Just cook and cook and cook. Maybe for an hour. Vegetable soup is really, really cooked vegetables. Oh, I forgot to put the potato in. You can put a potato in if you want. Cut it up in little chunks, put it in at the same time as the other vegetables. Sweet potatoes in if you like that, also chunks. That's how you make vegetable soup. Taste for salt. You could put in cayenne pepper if you like heat, some splashes of Tabasco, hot sauce. Even salsa, you can dump a little salsa in there if you like hot stuff. And this is going to be the best soup you ever had. Don't freeze it. Serve it to your friends. Big crusty loaf of bread and a nice salad, although you can see there's so much vegetables in here you don't even need a salad. Bread and soup makes a great meal. I hope you've enjoyed this. This has been Cooking for Clueless Vegan Apartment Dwellers, Installment 3, Vegetable Soup. I win.